The moment the predator dragon entered the research station, every living being inside froze in terror, because this was no ordinary creature. It was a genetically engineered apex predator, a living weapon bred for dominance, a monster rumored to have wiped out entire alien colonies, its crimson scales glinting like blood-soaked armor, eyes glowing with primal hunger, each breath carrying the scent of death. And as its massive claws scraped against the metallic floor, alarms screamed and soldiers tightened their grip on weapons they knew would likely be useless, scientists whispered prayers, technicians backed away in silent panic, and even hardened space marines felt their pulse spike, because everyone knew the predator dragon reacted violently to one thing above all else, the scent of blood. It was said that once it smelled blood, it lost all restraint, transforming into a relentless killing machine that could tear through steel, bone, and entire platoons in seconds. And today, they were testing whether it could be controlled, whether it could coexist with humans, whether humanity could tame something born to dominate all life. But then something unexpected happened, something so absurd that it shattered every expectation in the room, because seated casually at a steel cafeteria table was a lone human, a broad-shouldered, battle-worn veteran named Carter, who looked more like a tired truck driver than a legendary frontier soldier, chewing calmly as if he were sitting in a roadside diner instead of a high-security containment lab, and on the table in front of him lay thick slabs of raw, bleeding meat, still dripping fresh crimson onto a white plate, the scent spreading through the room like a silent alarm bell, causing every scientist's face to pale as they realized the predator dragon had already detected it, its nostrils flaring, pupils narrowing, body lowering into a stalking posture as its growl reverberated through the chamber like distant thunder, while armed guards raised rifles with shaking hands, their fingers hovering over triggers, expecting an instant massacre. But Carter didn't even look up from his meal, instead tearing a piece of meat with his gloved hand, taking a slow bite, chewing thoughtfully, and when the dragon's low roar escalated into a bloodthirsty rumble, Carter finally glanced sideways at the massive creature and said in the most casual tone imaginable, "Relax. It's only my lunch." The room fell into stunned silence, as if reality itself had paused to process what had just happened, and for a moment, no one could believe their ears. How could a human, standing face to face with a creature feared across star systems, speak with such effortless calm? The dragon stepped closer, muscles coiling beneath armored scales, saliva dripping from jagged teeth, its predatory instincts screaming at it to attack, to devour, to dominate. Yet instead of charging, it hesitated, tilting its massive head as if confused by Carter's lack of fear, because every being it had ever encountered trembled before it, ran from it, or tried to kill it. But this human did none of those things. He didn't scream, didn't reach for a weapon, didn't even tense. He just ate, as if the dragon were nothing more than an oversized stray animal, and the scientists whispered in disbelief, watching the impossible unfold as Carter slowly leaned back in his chair, lifted another piece of meat, and tossed it gently toward the dragon, the slab skidding across the floor and stopping at the creature's clawed feet, causing the guards to gasp in horror, expecting the dragon to interpret it as a threat or challenge. But instead the dragon sniffed the meat, then looked back at Carter with a mixture of suspicion and curiosity, and Carter smirked faintly, speaking again with a relaxed grin, "You want it? Go ahead. Plenty to share." The predator dragon, engineered for rage, slaughter, and fear, paused once more, then slowly lowered its massive head and took the meat, not as an act of conquest, but almost like an animal accepting food from a trusted hand. And the tension in the room cracked like glass, leaving everyone stunned beyond words, because in that moment they realized something extraordinary. The dragon wasn't the most dangerous being in the room. The human was. Later, when questioned by the research team about how he remained so calm, Carter shrugged and explained that on Earth, humans had grown up facing predators far worse than the dragon, not just beasts, but wars, disasters, hunger, and extinction-level threats, and they had survived all of it, adapting, enduring, and refusing to bow to fear. Because humans, he said, weren't the strongest species, nor the fastest, nor the most terrifying, but they were the most stubborn, the most resourceful, and the most unbreakable. And while other species evolved claws, venom, wings, or psychic power, humans evolved something far more dangerous, the ability to stare death in the face and keep eating lunch. And as the predator dragon slowly settled beside Carter instead of attacking him, the entire station witnessed a turning point in galactic history, the day the most feared predator in the universe hesitated before a human who refused to be afraid, proving once again why humanity was feared and respected across the stars, not because they were monsters, but because they were the species that never gave up, never backed down, and never let fear control them. And as Carter finished his meal, he leaned toward the observation cameras with a confident half-smile and said, "If you enjoyed watching humanity tame the impossible, don't forget to subscribe, because our next story will prove we're even harder to scare."